This video, I'm going to show you how to transform your edits into crazy mixed media animations using the brand new version of my best-selling plugin, MXM. We're going to be going over all the new exciting features of this brand new version 2, and trust me, this thing is packed with features and built-in effects that are really going to level up your edits. Now, if you still haven't grabbed yourself a copy, check the first link in the description down below. But now let me show you how to use and install MXM 2.0. The first thing you'll want to do is download ZXP Installer and drag and drop the .zxp file straight into it. Now that we're ready to jump into After Effects, we can go ahead and click the Window, Extension, and MXM2. And if you've properly installed it, you should see this panel that's going to greet us to activate our license. Now, we're going to need our order credentials. You can find these in your order confirmation email or by logging into your customer account via the website. I'm just going to enter my own credentials real quick, and then make sure to click the little box at the bottom, click activate license, and if you haven't made any typos and your credentials are right, you should be good to go and all set. Now we can start having fun with this, so we're going to go ahead and create a comp using this music video source clip. So I'm going to just choose a cool little moment we can showcase it on. We're going to use this. And as you can see, this thing works the exact same way as all my other plugins. So you're going to want to refresh this. As you can see, our comp is going to pop up. Now hit launch. It's going to do its thing, load all of the effects. And as you can see right away, we have a beautiful texture and color preset that applies onto our whole thing. So you might be like, yeah, it looks cool, but why are there gray borders all around the thing? So if you peeped the resolution of this clip, it is not a 16:9 clip. It has a bit of a weird aspect ratio, and MXM only outputs 16:9. It's been designed that way. So we're going to need to fix that. And thankfully, the plugin can handle all of that. So you can apply it to your clips that are not 16:9 and just let the plugin figure it out. So the way we're going to do that is go into the source edit panel, and we're going to go here, which is the aspect ratio controller, and we're just going to click it, set it to width, and as you can see, it's going to crop it in and make it look all nice. Now, before we dive into this panel, just know that if you want to go to the settings tab, you can click the MXM logo, and that's also going to serve as a before and after toggle that you can use to kind of see what the plugin is doing. And it's just so satisfying. Here you can also choose your control device, whether you're using a mouse or a trackpad. That's going to help with the overall sensitivity of the knobs and everything. So make sure if you're using a mouse, you click mouse. That way you're going to be able to use your scroll wheel. You can also reset defaults if you want to basically revert all settings and get the plugin back to factory settings. But if we go back into the source edit panel, you'll see that up top we have the texturing options. So this new version of MXM has a crazy amount of texturing option materials. As you can see, we have 29 different material types we can use. So this is the texturing of the top layer. As you can see, if we just flick through some of my favorite presets, these are really going to change the entire way the image is being textured, and it's just an absolute joy to watch. As you can see, if we crop it in, I really love the carbon preset. You'll see how it changes everything, and even just from a preset to the other, you can see it completely changes the way everything is being rendered. Drywall is also a favorite of mine. As you can see, really cool stuff. If we go all the way to the back, you also have a dotted preset that's really cool. But yeah, tons and tons of options to choose from. You even have some leather options that are really detailed and sweet, as you can see. So we're gonna set it back to the default preset, and then if you want to go into the bottom layer, this is really gonna affect the texturing of the darker areas of your composition. So one that really looks good in the bottom layer option is the actual leather preset, which is the L1, and as you can see, it just adds those nice leather cracks all around the shadow areas of your composition. And honestly, I'm just a big fan of this one. But as you can see, if we change it, it's gonna look completely different. It's really gonna change from a preset to the other, how everything is being textured. So I absolutely love this thing. If you click on the preset, you can also fully turn it off. So if you only want, let's say, texturing on the top layer and not on the bottom layer, you can do that, or vice versa. which is really cool. It's super modular, and honestly, you can get it to look the exact way you want, which is great. Now, right under this, we got the noise option, which was part of MXM V1. And there are a few other cool effects, like the RGB preset, which is gonna add some crazy colors all over the place. The chromatic aberration preset, which I absolutely love. As you can see, it's just gonna add that nice sweet touch of color. And finally, the ink bleed, which is gonna give a printer scan distortion to all of the colors in our image. So really cool stuff. We're gonna keep it basic for now. And at the bottom, you can see we have all the controls for the actual footage itself. So these are knobs, you can click them, you can use your mouse scroll wheel, you can use your trackpad. If you're using your scroll wheel, which I highly suggest when you're using a mouse, you can see we're gonna scroll this and it's gonna change the values. And if you wanna do precise adjustments, you can hold Control on your keyboard, and now it's only gonna move by 1 unit. So you can get very, very precise with this. And as you can see, I mean, if we bump up the saturation, the new color science in this plugin is just absolutely crazy. It renders the colors in such a unique way. It really actually looks like it's being printed on some paper, which I am a big fan of. As you can see, just a little before and after, this thing is a beast. So if we go back to the main section, as you can see under there, we got the main effects panel, which is basically the bread and butter of the MXM V2 plugin. As you can see, we have many built-in effects that are completely going to transform your footage and allow you to create complex mixed media animations right inside the plugin. Now, right under this panel, we also have the resolution knob, which is going to control the scaling of the main texture. So as you can see, by turning it to the left, we're going to get sharper results. You're really going to want to play around with this value depending on which textures you're using. Here we have the frame rate. Honestly, I would advise you guys not to change this. Mixed media animations are supposed to be kind of choppy and low frame rate. If you do decide to change this, you're gonna get a big performance hit. So honestly, don't touch this. It's gonna look way better if you leave it on 8 FPS. And on the right, we got the texturize intensity. And this is literally pretty much the same thing as the resolution, but it's going to affect the bottom layer texture that we were setting here. So if, for example, I set it to leather, come back here, you're really going to see how much of a difference it does when we turn it off and kind of like turn it up like this. But right under there, we got the load and save preset function. Arguably one of the most revolutionary feature of this plugin. You can now create custom looks, save them, share them with your friends, and even sell them on marketplaces and make money off of them. So this is an absolutely wild feature. I'm so happy we made it happen. And in the middle, we have the shake toggle, so you can turn on and off the shake. I'd probably always just leave it on. And then we got the high res function, which is basically a little upscaler that's going to add sharpness to your overall animation. As you can see, we can get it to look super crazy. I would probably leave it on the base setting, which is just toggled like this. And now we can actually take a deep dive into all the effects that are built into this plugin. You'll see we're in for a wild ride, but let's get right into it. All right, let's start with the cutouts. So if you're familiar with the V1 of MXM, you're gonna be familiar with this, but we basically turned it up a notch and gave you guys a bunch of layouts and really cool presets to choose from. So I'm just gonna turn off the bottom section for now. Here you have this hologram, which is gonna show you exactly how the cutouts are being animated on top of your footage. So there are many layouts to choose from. As you can see, just flicking through these creates absolutely insane results. I am super proud about this feature. If we go towards the bottom now, you'll see that we have these rips and borders that are really gonna sit under your footage and kind of destroy everything before it actually gets filtered through the paper cutouts on top of it. So as you can see, bunch of crazy presets here. Once again, I really love the borders too, which is very subtle but has a nice touch. And also you have these pre-made mixed media layouts, which I'm going to come back to later in this video. But just know they're there. They look really amazing. And yeah, as you can see, there are so many options. And if we just go back to, let's say, preset 2, for example, let's do border 1. As you can see, we're going to add back some cutouts. and you have effects for the cutouts, so you can turn on and off the emboss. I'd probably just leave it on, it just looks better. You have the details, which are basically these little Sharpie lines all over the place. A really sick detail that adds a lot of pop to all the effects. As you can see, it really just adds a lot of details. So I pretty much always leave it on, except for when I'm like going for a super clean look, but in this case I'm going to leave it on. And finally, you got the lines, which are basically just little scan lines that are going to be in the cutouts themselves, and the timing feature, which is going to create a 1-frame echo. I really suggest you do this if you're moving between different clips and stuff. You'll see it looks amazing. Now let's go into the colors tab, and you're going to use this to play around with different color science presets. You'll see this is super cool. So obviously the first one is monochrome. If we set the opacity to 100, for example, it's just gonna get black and white. But if we flick over to sun fade, for example, it's gonna look as if we left this thing under the sun and it kind of cooked the ink and made it look super faded. I really love this look. What's cool is you can control independently the opacity as well as the saturation of that specific color science. So it is not the same as controlling it through here. This is kind of like the input source, whatever we're putting into the plugin before it gets filtered through anything. And this is what we're actually pushing on top of it. What's cool is you can also change the blending mode of the actual color preset, which is really gonna give you those unique looks. So for this preset, it's not that visual, but you'll see I'm gonna show it to you on the acid preset. As you can see, pastel looks freaking amazing. Pink wash, once again, super cool. If we flick through the different blending modes for this one, you'll see that kind of gets a little bit more subtle. Now, we can really play around with this and get super creative. This is the acid preset, probably my favorite one. And as you can see, really nice. If we crank it up a ton and maybe lower it down, it kind of gives us this like washed out, really like lifts up those shadows, makes them gray. But look at this, guys, how sick is this? So yeah, so you can really have a lot of fun just using these color presets. It's going to completely change your look, so I highly advise you guys check these out. I think for this we're going to stick to the sun fade or even like the pastel. Kind of keep it pretty subtle like this. I think it's pretty cool. Now if we move over to the overlays tab, once again, some of you guys might recognize this exact overlay. It was the only one that was available in MXM V1, but in this V2, as you can see, we have many ones to choose from. So really cool one is the Data 2 or the Data 1, which is essentially inspired by the Tracery plugin. So you basically have live tracking effects right inside of MXM. You can adjust the scale of it, make it bigger or smaller, play around with the opacity, but also the blending mode. So let's say I'm going to put this to screen, for example, and it's going to shift everything to white. As you can see, this looks super tough. And yeah, there's a ton of options to choose from. Really like the scanner. It's really gonna like play with your colors. If you set it to difference or subtract, for example, as you can see here, we get those like little yellow lines that kind of streak throughout our image. It's just gonna mess our colors up. I really like this feature. And as you've been seeing, if you want to turn off a effect because you've changed your mind, you can literally just click the little X here and it's gonna turn it off. Moving over to the scan lines, this is a really cool one. Once again, so as you can see, we got the horizontal and vertical scan lines. For this one, I'm going to lower the opacity on the vertical one just to keep the horizontal ones. So as you can see, both options have the exact same effects, but we can control the color, really get a precise look. We can control the gap in between the lines, so we can make it super tight like this. And then, you know, we can adjust the thickness of those lines. And finally, the blending mode, which really allows you to get like super precise. Once again, as you can see, it blends in super nicely, and then we can maybe lower the opacity a little bit to make it more subtle. Maybe play around with the color, set it to like a red or something. And as you can see, just look at his shirt, how it has like this nice sort of printed detail on top of everything. I'm a big fan of this. I pretty much always put it on every single mixed media animation I create. But moving over, we're gonna go to the paints section. So this is the spray paint that was part of the V1, but once again, you'll kind of get the theme here. We kind of built it out, and now you have many layouts to choose from. So as you can see, we can choose between various layouts by clicking this little spray can preset selector. As you can see, super cool stuff. We can adjust the scale, which is gonna kind of spread out those spray paint effect. I am like such a big fan of this feature. You can obviously change the color. So, you know, we can get super crazy with this. For example, put some orange. Then you can change the brush style of the actual spray paint effect. So if you look here, you'll see that the strokes are going to be different one from each other. I really like the last preset. It's like a dotted sort of look. It looks really freaking good. If we put it to red, like something more contrasty, or even black. But yeah, you can just go crazy with this feature. And finally, like everything, we can also change the blending mode. So set it as color, add, and the difference, and even subtract, which I really like. So once again, tons and tons of options to really make this your own and create the most unique results, even though everything is being handled through the plugin. Now, if we move over to the Halftone, this is really gonna reminisce you of MXM V1. As you can see, this is where we get the signature MXM look. It's gonna add a halftone effect to everything. So just like an MXM one, we can adjust the density. So as you can see, the higher we go, the more spread out those little dots are gonna be. Then we can go for the 2x, which was always my preferred setting. But now what's really cool is we can actually adjust the threshold, which is really gonna adjust what's being filtered through the actual halftone effect. So now it's really just a matter of playing around between the opacity and the threshold to really get your desired look. And once again, we can also adjust the blending mode to really get more specific and have it hit the exact way we want it to. So that's the Halftone, super cool stuff. I'm gonna turn it off just so you guys see this more. And finally, probably the most exciting feature for me, the borders. So we have live paper borders that are fully animated right inside of MXM. As you can see, we have the layout mode, which allows us to choose between various layouts. So what's cool with this, you could literally, like, let's say do a little split, and then maybe like put different effects on this side in your source comp, for example, or even just, you know, use different clips in every single one of these custom sections. Now, if we go back to the base preset, you'll see we can adjust the border width for all of these. So as you can see, we can make it a lot bigger, or, you know, a little bit more subtle if that's what you're into. So really adjust it accordingly. And at the bottom, we can adjust the scale of the rips. So if we put it to 0, as you can see, it's gonna get rid of the rips entirely, which is gonna give us a clean paper frame. But if we turn it up, we're gonna get some more rips. We can also change the blending mode, put it to subtract, which is gonna make it seem as if our source is actually getting ripped. And finally, the rips distortion, which you can turn up. And as you can see, it's just gonna add some more rips and look all freaking crazy. Now, you guys get ready for this feature. This is probably the craziest feature of this entire plugin. But now we're gonna go back to our source composition and actually roto out our subject. So you'll see, we're gonna do this super quickly for this demo, but I'm just gonna open this up, roto out very roughly my subject like this. All right, so now that this is done freezing, we can actually go back to the MXM comp, switch over to the subject mode. And if you haven't figured it out by now, as you can see, the clip we just rotoscope is gonna pop up in this little layer selection menu. So every single layer you rotoscope inside of your main comp is actually gonna show up here. So now what we can do is select it, click the select button. And as you can see, it's just magic. Guys, come on, bro. We have live paper cutouts applied directly to our rotoscoped subjects. And of course, you can also adjust the border width, the rip scale, and everything I just showed before. So, I mean, look at this. Like, it does not get much better than this. Like, this is freaking crazy. The fact we can achieve all of this right from the plugin is unheard of. And As you can see, I mean, all of this is live and fully animated. If I just hit preview, you'll see. And one thing I haven't touched on, this new version of MXM is a lot more powerful and a lot faster than the OG V1. As you can see, this is rendering super quickly in full resolution. So if we just hit a playback, as you can see, absolutely freaking crazy. This is all being handled through MXM. We did not do anything before. As you can see, we only rotoscoped our subject, but that's all. So now we can click back, and that's essentially the tour of all the built-in effects. As you can see, this thing is crazy powerful. Like, it is levels above anything I've ever created before. I actually spent over a year building out this plugin, hence why it is so advanced, and I'm truly proud of the final result. It took a lot of work, but hopefully you guys are gonna love it as much as I do. Now, if we go all the way to the bottom, like I said, we can now load and save presets, which is huge. So as you can see, obviously, we could reset the defaults, for example. So now we're back to default. We can fix the aspect ratio and then apply a preset. And as you can see, I can literally put any preset on. Let's just do preset demo. I don't even remember what it is, but you'll see it's gonna load up an entire preset and apply it to our clip directly and completely transform it into this crazy complex mixed media animation. So as you can see, in one click, we got these results. How crazy is that? Like, this is super detailed. There is a lot going on. I mean, we could go down and maybe get like a gritty black and white preset that's a little bit more clean. And I'm actually gonna have a starters preset pack for free that you're gonna be able to download in the description, so that whenever you get your hands on the MXM plugin, you're all good to go and you have a few presets to kind of use as starting point and build on top of. But yeah, I mean, I could go on for days just applying some of these presets. And obviously, like I said, you can adjust these. For example, we could turn off the color preset that's on top of this and leave, you know, the OG colors here. Then maybe go into the spray paint and put some blue instead of the yellow. And like, guys, just look at how everything completely changes. We could even put some red, like go for a red team, and just like that, I mean, we created this super complex mixed media animation. Now let's reset everything to default and actually go into the cuts section. I'm gonna show you guys something really cool. So we're gonna hit the dash preset. I think I'm gonna choose the cutouts number 7, which is super clean. And then if we go back to our source com, as you can see, we have these little windows now. So what I like to do to make these complex animations in literal seconds is actually pick some other moments and kind of frame these little windows with other clips. So you'll see exactly what I mean. So you're gonna kind of have to play around with it, see where it lines up. But this is a really cool way to get super complex looking animations in literal seconds. So as you can see already, this looks really freaking cool. I would probably had like a color preset to really make it pop even more. I think we're gonna go with the acid preset. Maybe bump up that saturation, set it to like hue. I think this already looks so freaking cool. But now what we can do to really spice it up is like maybe, you know, add some effects on some of these windows. So like, you know, a tritone effect for this one. Now we could probably do like a green or a blue or whatever. You can really spice it up. Like I said, go back to the cuts, play around with the different layouts. We can add this, and I mean, off rip, you can see how advanced this looks. And it honestly looks as if we spent like hours building out this thing, when in fact it only took us like, what, 2 minutes? So like we could add scan lines. I'm gonna leave it like that for now. And finally, you know, spray paint effects. And as you can see, they're gonna be transposed from the cutouts to the others, which is really what makes these stand out. So let's just flick through all the different paint layout just for the hell of it. I think we could probably do the number 2, maybe make it a tad bit bigger, and then add another color, maybe something like a yellow or Something like a green, I think, would look pretty cool, or blue. Yeah, I think we're gonna do a blue and then set it to like overlay or color. I really like color usually. Yeah, color looks super sick. But yeah, change the preset, make it more dotted. As you can see, we can really see the difference this made here. If we look at the subjects, yeah, we can even go crazier with the scale. But that's how you create these super complex mixed media animations in seconds using the brand new version of MXM 2. I know this was a bit of a longer video than usual, but this plugin is so packed with features, I had to spend the 15-20 minutes to cover it all for you guys and get y'all off the ground. But that'll be pretty much it for today. I hope y'all enjoyed this. If you still haven't grabbed yourself a copy of the MXM plugin, make sure to check the first link in the description down below. You'll also find the free starters preset pack as well as some doodles, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.